Hello, good morning, Denmark and Noriel. Hold on, may echo from my side. Okay, there you go. And then, yeah, good morning, then, Jabel, and to everyone watching this recording. So, this would be our final meeting, hopefully, siguro for the semester. Um, you're done with all of the lab exercises, so congratulations, guys. We're done with all the discussions. So, all that is left would be the second problem set, which went live in Canvas yesterday at around 8 a.m. So, hopefully, you already started doing it. It has three questions. So, yung isa medyo mahaba-haba essay consisting of 10 questions. And then you have some exercises, some problems on numerical differentiation and numerical integration. So the deadline for that would be December 21st. So probably give me 2 or 3 days to finish grading that. Then tapos na sa problem sets then. Hopefully your lab instructors can also finish grading the lab exercises so that before we go to the Christmas break, almost di pala before. So siguro before Christmas, makikita nyo na yung standing nyo for Math 174, except for the final project. The final project is worth 20% of your final grade, so it's equivalent to one problem set. So kaya that's what we'll do today. Discuss the guidelines for the final project. A copy of the file is already also available in Canvas. Meron akong isang module na ginawa ng title ay Final Project Guidelines. So doon nyo siya makikita. And what else? All right, so i-discuss ko yung guidelines. So, but before going there, do you guys have some questions or clarifications about the problem set? Punahin ko siguro yung problem set kung may mga tanong kayo. Okay, so kung walang tanong about the problem set, so tingnan natin ng itong final project guidelines. So again, this is worth 20% of your final grade. So I hope you guys will really put in some effort. Though siguro ilang linggo nyo lang itong gagawin. So you'll start this week, then probably next week. Kaya lang Christmas break na, then probably you'll have less than a week pagdating ng January after the Christmas break. So despite that, I hope you will put in some effort. Tapos I don't ang isang danger ay baka isipin nyo parang SP na yung gagawin nyo. So what I'll do also towards the end of today's lecture ay magpakita ng ilang mga sample ng mga projects that were done in previous years that I taught 174. Pero kailan ba ako huli nagturo? Uli ako nagturo ay 2016. So kababalik ko lang uli sa UPLB. So kaya medyo luma-luma na yung mga projects. Okay? But nevertheless, they are still good. So yeah, tingnan natin, daanan natin itong guidelines for the final project. The first one is the project can be done solo or in a group with at most 4 members. So again, if you don't have any group mates yet and you want to be part of a group, kindly answer the Google form that I sent via Canvas. So balikan nyo lang yung announcements. If you missed that email, go to Canvas, click on the assignments on the announcements tab. Makikita nyo doon yung isang announcement about groupings. Currently, I have I think no, as of last night, I have 3 responses. Um, apat supposedly, yung isa nag-back out na kasi nakakuha na siya ng group. And then out of that, yung isang nag-request, naghahanap ng group of 2 members lang. Yung isa 3 members lang, yung isa 4 members lang. Kaya hindi ko pa sila pagsama-sama into a group. I'll wait until Thursday in order to see who else will be looking for group mates. Kaya lang pag wala nang naghanap or wala nang dumagdag na magpahanap ng group mates, I will most probably group those 3 persons na nagsagot ng form, ng form into a single group. So, kaya preference yung tawag ko dun sa number of group mates kasi baka hindi rin naman siya masunod. So, kindly let me know kung magbabago yung isip nyo if you prefer doing it solo instead of a group of 3 or 4. then just let me know before Thursday. Kasi sa Friday, sasabihan ko na yung mga nag-submit ng form kung sino yung mga ka-groups nila so that you can start doing it kasi nga medyo mahigpit na yung time frame unless you guys will work over the holiday break, okay? But that will, I think, 1 week will be sufficient if you are in a group of 3 para hati-hatian yung trabaho and do all the reports required. Okay. Now, the nature of the project. The project should either be a type 1 project, which features the application of one or more numerical techniques from the list below to real-world data. So meron ako dito mga listahan ng mga topics or routines in numerical analysis related to approximation of functions, numerical integration, and numerical differentiation. So you can pick one of the possible topics in here and then apply these methods into real-world data. And that will be a nice type 1 project. Okay. Now, if you are more interested in the theoretical aspects or in-depth analysis of methods, you can do a project of type 2. So in type 2 naman, it's a detailed exposition of one of the topics. So parang gagawa kayo ng modules, katulad ng modules natin sa course, right? So merong mga explanation, um, detailed analysis of the significance, motivation, and the actual implementation of these numerical methods. Tapos siguro, yun, dun siya magpo-focus. And then instead of application to real-world data, you can just provide or create some illustration or examples. So parang yung 2A, yung type 1 project, mas focus siya sa application ng method sa real-world data. Okay. Pero i-discuss nyo pa rin naman yung method pero hindi nandun yung focus. So majority or bulk of the work will be on selecting a real-world data, applying the method to it, and then doing some analysis. Ano yung nakuha yung info after implementing or after applying the numerical method to real-world data. Yung type 2 project naman, ang focus niya ay dun sa discussion. Parang tuturuan niyo ako na paano gawin itong method, paano i-implement itong method na to. Bakit siya inimbento? Ano yung advantages at disadvantages niya over the methods we discussed in class? Tapos yun yung pinaka-focus. And just to uh, just to let me know that you really mastered the methods you wrote about, kailangan yung gumawa ng mga examples. So yung mga examples na gagawin nyo, hindi necessarily galing sa real world data. So halimbawa, gagamit kayo ng say uh, adaptive algorithm and integration. So, i-discuss nyo ano yung method na adaptive integration, tapos ano yung significance niya, pwedeng may discussion kayo on error analysis, and then provide a couple of examples to illustrate the method. Halimbawa, ipapa-integrate nyo yung e to the x squared dx using adaptive integration. So sa type 2, mag-focus kayo dun sa content ng method o dun sa theory behind the method, and then magbigay lang kayo ng isang specific made-up example that is not necessarily from a real-world data. Okay. Pwede rin namang hybrid, pwedeng combination ng dalawa. So, laging merong isang isang component which talks about the method, and then second component which gives an example. So, pwedeng sa type 2 kung gusto nyong real-world data rin. So, it's fine with me. So, it could be a hybrid of the two. All right? Now, I made here a quick list of possible topics. Now, hindi necessarily dito lang kayo pumili. So, nilagay ko lang tong possible topics na to para siguro sa simula, pumunta kayo sa, sa internet, i-check nyo itong, maghanap kayo ng topics para sa problem, para sa project. Tapos dahil nga kukonti na yung oras na natira sa atin to do the project, I provided you with some keywords so you can pick from these para may idea kayo ano yung isa-search nyo. But if you have already another another topic in mind, pwedeng yun na yung gawin nyo as long as hindi siya na-discuss sa klase. Alright? So, etong mga topics na to, almost all of them ay hindi natin na-discuss sa klase. So, kung meron kayo ibang topic na naisip na hindi natin diniscuss sa klase, pwedeng yun din yung gawin yung type 1 or type 2 project. Tapos, kung meron kayong magandang data, tapos yung data na yon ay feeling nyo pinaka-appropriate gamitin na isa sa mga methods na na-discuss natin sa klase. So just let me know na ang gagawin yung method ay na-discuss sa klase. Alright? Kasi kailangan nyo muna akong kumbinsihin that you will be bringing something new to the table even though you will be doing a project based on a method that was discussed in class. So yun yung usapan natin. Pag nasa listahan na to, then hindi nyo na kailangan magpaalam or ipa-approve yung topic. Pag wala dito sa listahan na to yung topic na napili nyo pero hindi siya na-discuss sa klase, then go ahead. You can start right away. Pero kung ang naisip nyo yung method ay na-discuss sa klase, kailangan yung ipagpaalam sa akin at sabihin nyo sa akin kung bakit ko kayo kailangan payagan kahit na na-discuss siya sa klase. Alright? So it will take a little bit of convincing para ma-approve yung mga topics na na-discuss sa klase. Okay? Now, ilan sa mga possible topics ay Newton-divided differences in polynomial interpolation. Probably in the first 2 semesters that I taught 174, I discussed Newton-divided differences, but I decided to drop it in the last few years that I handled it, including today. So you can do a type 2 project on Newton-divided differences. So hindi siya pwedeng type 1. Type 2 lang yung Newton-divided differences. You can also do barycentric Lagrange interpolation also as a type 2 project. Okay. Tapos pwede ring polynomial interpolation in 2 or more dimensions. So, paano i-interpolate ng function of 2, 3, or 4 variables? So, you can pick a dimension. Pwede mag-focus kayo sa 2 dimensions. And then you may encounter several techniques for polynomial interpolation in 2 variables. So, pwede kayong pumili ng isang specific technique lamang. So, halimbawa, ano bang pwede? Pwedeng approximating functions by nodal basis functions. Though strictly hindi siya polynomial interpolation, pero approximation of function of 2 variables. So pwedeng yun yung gawin nyo. So mag-focus kayo sa isang technique. Ito pala not necessarily interpolation, pwedeng polynomial pwede siyang polynomial approximation. Alright. So, kasi covered nga pala natin yung approximation na hindi kailangan dumaan dun sa mga interpolatory abscissas yung pang-approximate natin dun sa isang given function. Okay? Now, you can also do something on Bezier curves, which is a parametric estimation of a curve. But I think Bezier curves ay mas maganda sa mga type 2 projects. So, kasi mas magandang gawin yung Bezier curves, mas enjoy siyang gawin. If you'll try to draw portraits or pictures using Bezier curves, so hindi kailangang real-world data sa Bezier curves. And then there are some other topics here, Hermite interpolating polynomials. I also used to teach this in 174, pero nagagahol ako sa oras sa numerical integration. So kaya dinrop ko na yung Hermite interpolating polynomials from the outline and instead replace it with Monte Carlo simulation for this semester. Okay. Now, quadratic splines could also be a good topic because we discussed piecewise linear interpolants, skip the quadratic splines, and then move ahead to cubic splines. So you can do an exposition or a real-life modeling of quadratic splines. You can also do the same thing for trigonometric or periodic splines. Tapos, pwede ring numerical differentiation techniques na hindi papasok dun sa dalawang klase ng mga numerical differentiation techniques na diniscuss natin sa klase. Meron tayong dalawang diniscuss sa klase, yung kung given ka ng discrete data points or kaya mong kumuha ng discrete data points, isang paraan ay i-define yung interpolating polynomial that will pass through those points and then differentiate that interpolating polynomial to get your approximate for the derivative of the function modeled by the discrete data. And the second part would be using the Taylor series expansion. We got, say, 5-point centered formula of order 5 and so on. So aside from those two methods, meron pang ibang mga numerical differentiation techniques such as compact finite differences and pseudo-spectral derivatives. So you can write a project on that, either a type 1 or a type 2 project. And then for numerical integration, we have another class of quadrature rules, and they are called Hermite quadrature formula. And I think you can also find other quadrature formulas aside from Newton cotes and Gauss-Legendre quadrature formulas. So you can take a quick look ano pa yung pwedeng quadrature formulas. And then meron ding automatic integration kasi yung mga quadrature formulas fixed yung mga exabytes natin ginagamit. But there are some algorithms that will allow the method itself to adapt on how to the behavior of the function para mahanap niya ano yung mga optimal abscissas para gamitin. So medyo advanced na to kaya hindi ko na diniscuss sa 174, but you can take a look at it and see if you will be interested in doing a project on them. So meron dalawang klase ng automatic integration, the non-adaptive algorithms and adaptive algorithms. So under these two classes, there could be several automatic integration techniques. So you can just focus on one. Pili lang kayo ng isang specific technique, do a type 1 or type 2 project on them. Okay. And then you could also do a research project on the numerical evaluation of singular integrals. Now, napahapyawan natin to sa module, I think, 10, when we talk about numerical integration anomalies. But our only solution then was to do proper substitution or do an appropriate substitution for the variable to make the integral more manageable. Pero merong mga integrands na kahit anong substitution ang gawin natin, hindi natin matatanggal yung anomaly. And the anomaly is not just from the implementation of the numerical integration technique, but nandun siya talaga sa pinaka-definition nung integrand. Kaya walang amount of substitution yung pwede nating gawin para mapaganda yung integral. Sila yung mga tinatawag na singular integrals. May singularity yung integral. And usually you can find the techniques involving these in the engineering literature kasi sa electromagnetism, sa acoustics at least, dyan lumalabas yung mga singular integrals. Pag sinabi nating singular integrals, most likely ito yung mga integrands na may jump discontinuity. Sila yung may mga unbounded integrands, yung nag-approach ng positive value for a number inside the integration interval. So you can think of it as an essential discontinuity or an unbounded integration interval. So there are several methods for this. I think Nimsrom method will go under this topic. So you can take a look at others and choose one specific technique and then do a type 1 or type 2 project on it. Okay. Tapos if you're looking for a more familiar one, pwede kayong gumawa ng Monte Carlo simulation. Pero dahil nakapagbigay na ako ng several theoretical examples in class, if you will be doing a project on Monte Carlo simulation, then type 1 project lang siya. Hindi siya pwedeng type 2 kasi yung theoretical or made-up examples nagawa ko na sa modules. Okay? So these are possible topics. You can think of other topics and then, yun. So ito ay para lang bigyan kayo ng gabay or idea ano yung mga pwede nyo ipag-search from the internet or from books. All right? So questions so far, guys? Clear ba so far? Okay, I'll take your silence as a yes or as a sign na nag-aalmusal kayo dyan. Okay, ano yung kailangan yung ipasa? So alam niyo na yung content, ano yung subject of your research. Now, ano yung kailangang ipasa? Now, for any project, type 1 or type 2, regardless of how many members are there in your group, a written report is required. So you can think of it as a terminal report of the project. Parang if you have read journal articles already, so parang gagawa kayo ng ganung manuscript. Hindi pala manuscript na ala SP or thesis manuscript. Isa lang siyang journal article, article type report. Okay? Now, if you already took 195 or Math 195, you might be familiar with writing a technical report. So, ito yung mga naiisip ko na laman dapat ng project. So, at least meron siyang abstract. The abstract is a short paragraph describing what is done in the project. So, parang siya yung synopsis o parang trailer para dun sa inyong project. Okay? So, kailangan dun siya sa una. Then there should be an introduction which gives an overview of the project, its significance, limitations, and possible applications, if any. So ikukwento nyo ano yung background, siguro ano yung motivation behind the project, tapos papahapyawan nyo ano yung mga methods na nandun sa nagagamitin nyo sa project, ano yung data na nakalagay dun sa project, nagagamitin nyo sa project, tapos pwede nyo rin banggitin yung nawala sa isip ko. Ayun, yung objectives. Ano yung gusto nyo gawin dun sa project. Okay? So yun yung laman ng introduction. It could be one long paragraph or a couple of medium length paragraphs. So that would be a good introduction. And then theoretical framework or methodology, usually third section ito. So in the theoretical framework, you will discuss the method that you will use, ano yung formulation niya, ano yung mga formulas involved in the method, um, paano niyo siya i-implement kasi kasama niyo na rin yung methodology. So pwede niyo ring sabihin ano yung data na gagamitin niyo, paano niyo i-apply yung method dun sa data. Halimbawa, kung kailangan niyo pang i-linearize yung data and so on and so forth. Okay? If you're doing a type 2 project, then I will expect bulk of your work to be in the theoretical framework. Kasi mas masinsin sa type 2 project yung discussion on theory and the technical nitty-gritty of the method itself. So, yun yung hanapin ko rito. Kung kayo ay type 1 project, most probably you'll also have a theoretical framework kasi kailangan nyo ring ikwento sa akin paano nag-work yung method na ginamit nyo. So, pero siguro magpo-focus kayo more on the methodology. How you pre-process the data. Saan nanggaling yung data? Tapos ano yung mga kailangan yung gawin sa data para ma-apply yung method na kailangan yung gamitin. Alright? So perhaps this will consume a large portion of your work, probably siguro 2 to 3 pages para sa theoretical framework. Pero mga estimate lang naman yung number of pages. You're not bound to follow those number of pages that I'm saying. Alright? So pag nakwento nyo na, ano yung method na gagamitin, ano yung data nyo gagamitin, then the next section will be on the actual results and discussions for the project. So if you have a type 1 project, then highlight of your work would be the results and discussions section. If you're doing a type 2 project, then this section will contain the examples, the made up examples that you created. You can also include an analysis of the results that you got. Okay? So, dito nyo nasasabihan, okay, na-apply ko na yung method dun sa specific data ko, tapos ito yung nakuha naming results. Tapos you can do an analysis, ano yung ibig sabihin ng mga results yung nakuha. Halimbawa, nagpa-Monte Carlo simulation ka, nakuha mong value ay 47. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng 47 na integral? How will you contextualize it in the or with respect to the data that you used? So halimbawa yung 47 pala ay area ng Mount Makiling, for instance. I don't know 47 what, pero kunwari 47 yung nakuha nyo. And then what you can also do if your project is like that, pwede niyo i-compare ano yung accuracy nung aking nung inyong results compared to other pre-existing results or to the actual values. Halimbawa, alam naman natin yung total area talaga ng Mount Makiling. You did the Monte Carlo simulations to find how big Mount Makiling is. So pwede nyo i-compare yung nakuha nyong result with existing data. Okay? Kung type 2 project naman, isa sa pwede nyo gawin sa results and discussions after nyo i-employ yung mga example, after nyo gumawa ng mga examples, i-compare nyo yung results galing dun sa mga examples nyo sa mga results galing sa ibang existing methods. So, pwedeng ganun din yung gawin nyo. All right. Now, the second to the last section would be the conclusion section, where you will summarize what was done in the paper. So parang kontrapelo siya nung introduction. Okay? So listan nyo lang ano yung nagawa nyo sa project, tapos ano yung mga na-realize nyo from the projects, pwede nyong i-highlight ano yung pinakamalaking discovery or pinakamalaking result na nakuha nyo from your data. And if you can think of possible extensions of the project, you can also list them in the conclusion section. Okay? And then, technically, hindi naman to section, pero napakalaga na sa dulo ng kahit anong academic paper, you have a list of references. So sa theoretical framework, siguradong may mga ginamit kayo doon ng mga results from other works. So kailangan may proper citation. Halimbawa, sa second paragraph, nag-cite kayo ng isang result galing sa isang libro. So dapat naka-indicate doon na keynote nyo yung isang libro, tapos yung pangalan ng libro dapat nandun sa references. So, yun. These are the minimum. And then, hindi naman necessarily ito yung pangalan ng mga sections. You can be creative about it. You can name the sections the way you please and the way you see it fit. So kaya lang ito yung parang backbone o ito yung skeleton ng project, just to give you an idea. But you may add different sections as you see fit. Kung medyo mahaba yung code na ginamit nyo, tapos gusto nyo siyang ibida sa akin, idagdag nyo na lang siya as an appendix para hindi siya makagulo dun sa pagbabasa ko nung inyong paper. Tapos kung gusto niyo isama yung data na ginamit niyo para dun sa simulations, pwedeng sa appendix niyo na rin siya ilagay. Huwag na dun sa main body nung project para seamless yung pagbabasa nung project. And then, eto pala. So, kung magdi-discuss kayo ng isang method and it so happened that you found a pre-written program that implements that method. Tapos tingin nyo naman maayos yung program, na tama yung pagkaka-program. You went to GitHub and you have seen a copy of a program that implements this particular method that you chose. Then go ahead. You can use that program. I don't want you to start from scratch. Hindi kailangan kayo yung magpo-program mismo. Gusto ko lang kayo yung mag-isip ng implementation ng method. Saka ma-practice yung pagsusulat nyo ng academic paper. So why reinvent the wheel when it is already there? So download nyo na lang yung algorithm, apply nyo dun sa napili nyo data that probably na pre-process nyo. Tapos i-report nyo yung results. Okay? Nagawa na natin sa lab exercises yung kayo yung nagpo-program. So, I don't want the project to be too much of a burden na kailangan yung ulitin or isulat yung programs para dun sa mga methods na gagawin nyo. If you find some existing program, then again, feel free to use them. Just give appropriate attribution, acknowledgement, and reference to that repository or to that program or to the author of that program that you used. Pwede kayo magdagdag ng acknowledgement section. Ilagay niyo yon na etong program na to is courtesy of this person, or pwedeng sa references din dahil naka-public domain naman sir yung kanyang program. Ginamit na lang namin siya. We downloaded it from this website and then kailan nyo siya dinownload. So pwedeng nandun siya sa references. Which reminds me sa references, bahala kayong pumili kung anong citation style yung gagamitin nyo. You can use APA, ano pa ba yung iba? Harvard or whatever type of citation format. Depende rin sa math, kasi ako minsan iba-iba rin. I use LaTeX in writing my papers. And then usually, pag nag-download ako ng template galing sa isang journal, nakalagay na doon kung anong klase ng citation yung format ng citation yung gagamitin. So you can choose which one. Okay, I will not give you any specific template or a format to follow. So it's up to you to decide. My only request is that the project be word processed or computer processed. So wag na lang handwritten. Word processed na lang siya and try to keep it as professional looking as possible. You can use Microsoft Word or you can use LaTeX if you're familiar and comfortable using it. Okay. So ang maganda kasi sa LaTeX, maganda yung automation nung process like wrapping figures into figures, citation tracking, and so on. Saka maganda yung itsura ng mga equations pag naka-latex. All right? Now, what you can do, kung wala kayong naiisip na format, punta kayo sa mga websites ng mga journals. And then usually punta kayo dun sa instruction for authors. Then meron sila dong mga template files. So you can see, you can find latex template files. Tapos nandun na yung instruction. Parang naka-format na siya. Kailangan nyo lang ilagay talaga yung content. Meron din naman mga journals na merong word file. So pwedeng ganun din yung gamitin nyo. Ano ba yung mga nagamit kong templates? You can go to the IEEE website, IEEE transaction on antennas and propagation. So hanapin nyo yon. Meron silang word sa latex template na 2-column yung format, okay? Tapos meron din ng a quarterly of applied mathematics. Search nyo sa net, tapos meron silang template na pinaprovide sa website nila. Inverse problems also have one. Inverse problems in science and engineering. Journals of vibration engineering and technology. So these journals have templates available for download for everyone. Okay? So yon yung written output. No number of pages required. Bahala na kayo kung if you can write your project as compact as say 5 pages, then that's fine. If you are more verbose and medyo mahaba talaga yung write-up, maraming mga figures, then it can go to 10 to 12 pages. So there are no limitations. There is no minimum number of pages. So kayo na yung bahala. All right. Now, that's the written report. If your group, and only if your group has 3 or more members, then you will need to submit a video recording simulating an oral presentation of your project. So, swerte yung mga solo o yung mga uh, pairs lang na gagawa ng project. Once you have done your written report, submit it in Canvas, then you're good. Tapos na yung 174 nyo. Now, kung 3 or 4 yung members nyo, kailangan nyo pa ng isang requirement just to balance the scales kasi walang requirement dun sa depth ng project kung 3 or kung 2 or 4 kayo sa group. Ito na lang, dagdag requirement na lang pag marami yung members ng group. What you'll do is to have a video recording of you delivering your project as an oral presentation. So basically, it would be it will contain all of those in the written report, though in a concise manner. But the oral presentation will focus more on the results and discussion section for type 2 projects. For type 1 projects. And for type 2 projects, siguro parang lecture to, parang video lecture nung method na gusto nyong i-expose o bigyan ng isang in-depth discussion. So, pwedeng parang ganito, klase natin, meron kayong slide presentation, tapos you're discussing the method. All right? Now, You can do it via slide presentation, pwede naka-PowerPoint, or pwede namang poster paper. So, nakakita na ba kayo ng isang poster presentation? So, parang yun pa rin, write up, pero nakalagay lang siya sa isang poster. Usual size would be, ano nga bang usual size ng posters? 3 by 4 feet na poster. So, pwedeng ganon. Tapos, pasok lang kayo sa Teams, gawa kayo ng meeting, or sa Zoom, gawa kayo ng meeting. Tapos, share screen, tapos record with audio and video if you want. Then, that would be a nice project, right? Or a nice video presentation. Pwede rin naman gawin nyo siyang PowerPoint with annotations na nag-re-record kayo using PowerPoint itself. Kaya lang medyo yung mga third-party programs katulad nun ay medyo matagal yung rendering ng file at saka medyo malaki yung file na nagagawa. That's why I suggest you use MS Teams if you're comfortable doing it katulad nitong ginagamit natin sa klase kasi maliit yung file na napoproduce ni Teams. Imagine yung isang lecture natin which is about 50 to 60 minutes, parang around 200 megabytes lang yung ginagamit niya. Tapos, ang bilis ng rendering after siguro 1 or 2 minutes after we hang up the call or we stop the recording, available na kagad yung recording for download. So, mas maliit yung file, hindi na kayo problema ng pag-render nung recording. But I won't stop you from using any software that you want. Kung medyo um, inclined kayo into doing video editing, you can use some Adobe software for recording the project and so on. Basta wag lang siyang lalampas ng 10 minutes. Try to limit your presentation to around 10 minutes. Pwede naman lumampas ng konti, mga 10 minutes, 30 seconds, or 11 minutes, pero target 10 minutes, all right? To make it not too long for us to watch. Tapos naisip na namin na video recording na lang para hindi na tayo problema ng scheduling come finals week. I also know that you might be busy doing stuff during the finals week. I don't want to get on the way of that. So yeah, video recording na lang for group of 3 or more members. Now, it's up to you who will appear in the video. You can just ask one of your members to do the presentation all by themselves. Or pwede rin namang lahat kayo ay magpakita dun sa video, hati-hatiin yung recording, that's also fine. Kaya medyo maganda rin yung Zoom or MS Teams na interface para pagka yung susunod ng member yung magpe-present, pwedeng agawin niya na lang yung microphone. Siya naman yung mag-unmute, mag-mute naman yung ibang members, tas may isang taga-click ng slides. So parang ganun. So bahala na kayo doon, basta the presentation should be professional and academic looking. Wala na yung mga skit ha, baka gumawa pa kayo ng mga skit, meron pa kayong presentation, meron kayong MTV na gagawin. So 90s yung term na MTV, no? Pero yon, ano siya, parang isa-simulate nyo yung ano yung ginagawa sa isang conference. Alright? So yun yung video project. So parang lecture talaga, parang katulad din ng ginagawa ko day in and day out for the semester. Okay? Now, finally, the deadline. The deadline is on January 8, right before midnight, ng parehas na written saka video recording. So, gagawa na lang ako ng submission bin kay Canvas para doon nyo i-upload yung video recording o yung written report. Okay? Now, I hope January 8 is okay. I presented this to the other lecturer yesterday. Nobody objected. So, how about you guys? Do you think it's doable January 8? Ang January 8 okay, I already see a thumbs up here. January 8 is the second Saturday of 2022. So yeah, pwedeng January na kayo magsimula. I think the project is doable in a week or so. Better kung gagawin nyo na yung pagbabasa ng method, simulan nyo na yung pagbabasa during the holiday break. Kung medyo nagpapababa kayo ng kinain during the Noche Buena or Buena Noche, basahin nyo yung method, tapos you reconvene first week of January, assign people who will do the write-up, assign people who will do the PowerPoint presentation, and then mag-decide kayo kung kailan kayo magre-record. Now, one technique that you can do is, bahala kayo, pero I think I usually find it easier if I have the written report first. Tapos na yung written report before I do the oral presentation. Kasi ang gagawin ko, kung gawa na yung written report, copy-paste na lang yung mga laman galing dun sa written report papunta dun sa PowerPoint o papunta dun sa Beamer presentation if you will be using LaTeX. So, yun. Discarte nyo na yun, pero yun yung mga ideas ko para dyan. So, yeah, I think that's it. Any questions? Because right after this, I will quickly show you some projects that were submitted before. Kasi baka masyadong engrande yung naiisip nyo about the project. Isipin nyo, SP level yung kailangan kong gawin. Hindi naman kailangan SP level. Parang ano lang siya, elevated exercise na, or elevated lab exercise na may write-up, may pa-video, pero hindi siya ganon kalalim. Alright? Hindi siya kailangan maging SP kasi 1 or 2 weeks nga lang yung allotted time for you to do this. Okay? So no questions. So let me shift to my, yeah. Lipat ako ng screen and share with you some sample projects. So hopefully, oops, sorry, wrong window. Yeah, hopefully in the next few semesters, project yun na yung gagawin kong sample. The first project here is risk-neutral valuation of Asian and look-back options using Monte Carlo simulation. If you look at the title, you will discern na siguro mga AS yung gumawa nito. And I think one of the members here is Sir Angelo. So, naging estudyante ko si Sir Angelo way back in the day. Pero disclaimer, halos magkakasing edad naman kami. Talagang kailangan isingit yung disclaimer, no? So ito yung project, nalungkot ko yung project na pinasa nung group niya. So, yeah, they did Monte Carlo simulation and apply it probably to one of the things that they discussed in one of their MatFin or AS classes. So it's fine. Gumamit sila ng Monte Carlo simulation. So of course, they have an abstract here, a single paragraph describing to the audience or to the reader what is to be expected in the rest of the write-up. Okay. Tapos may introduction. So ikikwento nila dyan yung background or yung motivation behind the study that they conducted. They actually also define some terms that will be used, which I greatly appreciated because I'm not much into actuarial science or finance. So I really appreciated they defined here the buzzwords. And you see, hindi kailangan na may label yung mga definitions. Pwedeng nasa paragraph lang siya. So yeah, actually this project is a good read. Okay, and then they give a brief background of Monte Carlo simulation. Pero walang mga formulas pa, kunento lang nila paano siya nangyayari at bakit appropriate yung Monte Carlo simulation para sa kanilang method. Okay. Right? And then they have the theoretical framework where they lay down yung technical details na. Ano yung mga formulas involved? Ano yung mga models involved? So siya yung nasa theoretical framework and methodology. Now, what I would have wanted with this project is that the theoretical framework be presented in a much in a more seamless manner na hindi siya parang naka-bullet or scatter into several sections katulad dito. So siguro merong 1 or 2 paragraphs na mag-i-introduce, tapos may transition paragraph from one topic to another. So if you can do that, then that will be very great. Tas dito naging medyo comfortable na ako sa pagbabasa kasi dun sa introduction wala talaga akong alam. Naririnig ko sila because I'm into stock market pero hindi ko alam yung technicalities ng stock market. So yung basic lang yung alam ko. Tapos dito, nung nakakita na ako ng mga formulas, nakita ko na geometric Brownian motion lang pala yung ginamit nila. So it's sort of a stochastic process. So okay, unti-unti ko nang naintindihan kung ano yung gusto nilang gawin. Okay, they define what an Asian and look back call option is, and then a brief description, technical description of Monte Carlo simulation over here. And then they have a results and discussion section. Now, I think this is a hybrid of a type 1 and type 2 project. So, meron silang exposition ng method at dinescribe nila paano ma-apply yung Monte Carlo simulation dun sa specific topic na napili nila, and they came up with a formula dito. Right? So they have this, and then they have a conclusions part, which basically summarize what was done. And there you go. And then they have their references. So this is a 10-page project, and this was a good read. So yeah. Another one, which is more of a type 2 project, is this one, which is co-authored by Sir Jacob Malagit. So, naging estudyante ko rin si Sir Jacob. Si Sir Dylan, hindi ko na naging estudyante. Doon ako sa kabilang section nila, Sir Dylan. Si Sir Kemwell ay hindi sa UPLB nag-undergrad, so kaya hindi ko siya naging estudyante. So, napagdiskitaan ko lang ay si Sir Angelo saka Sir Jacob. So, ang ginawa naman nila Sir Jacob noon ay approximating the area of Laguna Lake using least squares criterion and Monte Carlo simulation. So you can have a title page. The title page will include the title, of course, then the authors, and then the affiliation. Email addresses are optional, but you still have the abstract. You can include the keywords, which will be the buzzwords na pwede kong i-search sa internet if I'll be looking for project. And sa journals, ang keywords ay ginagamit para lumabas yung study nyo. Halimbawa, may nag-search ng Monte Carlo simulation, then search engine algorithms will probably suggest your method to be one of the search results. So, yun yung para saan yung mga keywords. Tapos, in-introduce nila ano yung Laguna Lake. It's one of the 5 largest freshwater lakes in the whole Southeast Asia. Akalain niyo yun, ngayon ko lang siya narinig. So, yeah, ang laki pala talaga ng Laguna Lake compared to everyone, to other lakes. And it is estimated that it has a surface area of 949 square kilometers. So, napakalaki niya nga. Tapos, they continue on in the introduction saying that you can use several fitting curve to get the tapos mag-Monte Carlo simulation sila dyan. They have their preliminaries and theoretical framework, which discusses in details ano yung Laguna Lake, paano nila i-approach yung problem. So this, I think, is more of a methodology. So they do have Okay, sorry about that. Naputol yata yung connection ko. Just 2 more minutes. Tatapusin ko lang yung example nila, Sir Jacob. So dito sa preliminaries and theoretical framework, they focused more on the methodology. So pinakita nila, okay, ito yung mapa ng or aerial view ng Laguna de Bay. Gusto nilang i-approximate yung area nito based dito sa Google image na to. So ang ginawa nila, hinati nila yung Laguna de Bay into several parts. So makikita nyo dito. So I don't know if you can see my pointer, pero dito ay, sige, ayan, sulatan ko. Ito yung ginawa nilang first part, tapos second part, tapos ito yung third part, yung may mga red lines. So hinati-hati nila siya into several pieces. Tapos ang ginawa nila, or before we go to what they did, one suggestion that I have about this project is pag merong figure, tweet na meron siyang caption, sa ilalim may nakalagay na figure 1. This is the blank, blank, blank. So, kailangan may description yung mga figures. May caption at saka label siya dapat. So, dito nilagyan nila figure 1.1, figure 1.2. But to make it more professional looking, put the figure number below. Nakalagay the figure 1.2 and then merong short caption or description. So kung sa IG nga, nag-iisip pa kayo ng caption. So what more sa isang academic paper, ano? So yan. Tapos ito yung ginawa nila. Di ba? Ang ganda nung idea nila. Meron kang mapa ng Laguna de Bay, hinati-hati nila to into several pieces. And then, ito yung unang piece. Tapos, kinuha nila yung polynomial of best fit. Ito yung nakuha nilang curve that models this one. Alright? So, medyo malayo, pero ito na yung best na makukuha nila with respect to the least squares error using the points that they use. Itong mga dots sa figure 1.2, yan yung mga representative points na pinili nila sa figure 1.1. Okay. So instead na ito yung itsura ng Laguna de Bay or Laguna Lake, ito yung ginamit nila sa model. So medyo smooth siya. Okay. And so on. So ginawa nila to sa lahat ng pieces. Tapos, sa bawat isang piece na yan, ginamit nila yung Monte Carlo simulation para i-approximate yung area bounded above by their polynomial model and the x-axis below. So kinuha nila yung area under this curve using Monte Carlo simulation. Tapos yun yung ginawa nila. So results and discussion, ito yung mga, hindi pala polynomial, no? May mga rational models din sila para dun sa mga piraso ng Laguna de Bay. Tapos pina-integrate nila yan kay Monte Carlo simulation using 10,000 random points in each of the area. Tapos yun, one thing about this is sinama nila yung mahabang data dun sa actual body ng paper. I suggest if you have bulky data like this, put it into the introduction section. Okay? Put it as an appendix para hindi ganun ka tedious basahin yung paper. Tapos sa dulo, sa conclusions nila, doon din nila nilabel na conclusions, nilagay nila yung, eto, dito nila tinapos, I think yung research, yung results and discussion part. Okay, dito nila tinapos. And then, nakuha nilang area ay 940 square kilometers. And then, dun sa conclusion, or pwede rin naman sa results and discussion section, i-compare nyo yung nakuha nyong method with others. So for instance, they said that the US Geosciences and Survey puts the area of Laguna Lake to be around 911.7 square kilometers. They got 940 and it is pretty close kasi ang error lang ay about 3.19%. So imagine, just a knowledge of simple Math 174 techniques, they were able to estimate the area of Laguna Lake within 3.19% of what the US Geosciences and Survey value, kung ano yung nakuha ang value ng US Geosciences and Survey. And probably they used more sophisticated technique than what Sir Jacob and company did. But surprisingly, they got very accurate result, just around 3% error. Okay? And of course, they have their references over here. So I have some more projects here, but siguro may dalawa pa akong diniscuss dun sa kabilang section. I don't know why, siguro late tayo nag-start. If you want to see the other projects na hindi ko nabanggit dito, yung Bezier curves, and then yung iba pang mga klase ng mga projects, you can watch the recording of my session yesterday with section V. All right. Pero I hope the presentation today gave you an idea about the project. So, hindi siya ganun kalalim. So, focus more on the implementation of the method. Think of it as a glorified lab exercise rather than an SP or a thesis problem. Kasi 1 or 2 weeks lang yung i-devote nyo para dito. Okay? So, I think that's it from me. Do you guys have any questions, suggestions, or comments? All right, mukhang wala naman. And I think tapos na yung Math 174 natin, lecture sessions at least. We will just be waiting for your submissions for the problem set and the project. So with that, we won't meet on Thursday na. So this is the last day of our classes unless you guys will have some urgent concerns about the problem set or about the project. So pwede kayong mag-join meeting sa Friday. Meron akong link na binigay dun sa Canvas. So you can use that link. Join kayo sa meeting. Pag walang tao doon at kailangan nyo akong makausap, just send me an email or a chat and then I'll be shortly there. Okay? Pero you can devote that time to say meeting with your group mates or finalizing your problem set or doing other projects in other classes that you have. All right. But I think this is it for Math 174. Congratulations, guys, for seeing it through the end. And then, ano bang inaantay nyo na lang? Dalawa na lang, no? Problem set na lang, saka project. So, it was fun lecture. Ang ganda ng pagkaka-welcome sa akin dito sa pagbalik ng UPLB with the classes that I handled, including Math 174. So thank you guys for joining the meetings. I know it's early in the morning. It's also early for me. Thanks to online classes, hindi ko kailangan gumising ng 2 hours before the class para makasama sa atin or makasama sa meeting. But it was fun having you as my students, guys. So thank you guys, and I hope to see you around. Bye, everyone.